Hi, today we are going to look at SonarQube and how we're going to set it up for our TypeScript application, JavaScript TypeScript application. And what is SonarQube? Well, SonarQube is an open source software for static code scanning to discover potential vulnerabilities, bugs, and it highlights possible errors, security concerns, etc. We're going to create a SonarQube Docker. So we need to make sure that the Docker has started. So we can see, let me see here, Docker. So make sure that you start Docker. And now mine is started. Okay. We want to use Docker because it's an abstract way. It abstracts away a lot of things that can go wrong. Okay, it gives us a ready-to-use container with all the dependencies installed that we can use to run SonarQube. So we can do like this. There's two ways actually of doing it. I'm just opening the terminal. First, we can check the Docker hub here. If there's something called SonarQube, and you can see that there is SonarQube here, the official images for SonarQube. So with lots of stars there, official, okay. And if we want that one, then what we could do is we could download it, saying docker pull SonarQube, like this. And I will pause the video for a second. And now it's almost finished. There we go. And then now we could also Dockerize it here. So we can say docker run d for development. And then we're going to give it a name, and we call it my SonarQube. And then we can specify the port, and it goes on 9000. And we type in SonarQube here, like this. And now you can see in Docker that SonarQube has been installed, and it's using port 1990. We can also go in here and we can type in docker ps, where the ps here stands for process status. And now that we can see that it's up and running, we can go to localhost, and as you can see here, 9000. So let's do that here, localhost, and we type in 9000 there. Now we get to this website, and the login is admin and the password is admin. And then it wants to change it, so admin is the old one, and we're going to type in a safer one. So let's just generate one here, and let me copy this and save it for a second. and we click on update. Now it says you can replay the tour from the help section. So let's say OK, and it will get us through the setup here. Another way of getting your Docker up and running here is, of course, by creating this Docker compose file. So compose.yml here, and you can see what I wrote here. This, where do I get it from? I'll show you. So we are going to let's see, to this page here, hub.docker.com, and we can type in SonarQube, and this is the same one that we found. And when we go down here, you see this is what we did before, and we can actually write, see, this is where we were, but we can write our Docker compose file. We can see here, we're going to use localhost 9000, so let's just write that Docker compose file for a second. Here, and let me move this to the side a little bit. Let's see there, and I don't need to see this there. So we are going to write down services, and then we have to indent because services defines the containers. So in this case we want to containerize SonarQube. SonarQube, and this is going to be our image. And if we don't specify anything, it's automatically going to be the latest version. Then we want the container name, and we're going to call this one my SonarQube. So that's what we did. Let's see, can we see that? Let's see here. This one, my SonarQube, I wrote it there. Then we have the ports, and they were on 9000, like so, and that's it. Yeah. Let's try this out, and before I do that, I need to type in SonarQube here, there, and then I need to indent all that there. Okay, and I'm also going to remove this one here so we can start over, because we saw the other one is working there. And now when I write docker compose up, then you can see it's running here, and we can go to localhost 9000, and it's starting. We log in. And we need to set the password again, because we deleted the other one. And now we get in here. So let's start from here. And what we can do is, let me just get rid of those things there, is we can either choose something from Azure DevOps that we haven't looked at, a lot of things we haven't looked at. We can look at GitHub, but you know, I just want this project that I've been working on. So I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to say create a local project. Put myself back. Otherwise I look in the wrong direction. And I'm just going to call this, I think, items projects. And to keep it simple, I will leave this the same there. And we're going to leave everything else the same. Click on next. Then on this page it says set up new code for project. The new code definition sets the criteria for what's considered new code, allowing you to focus on the most recent change in your project. This setting allows project administrators to customize the new code definition for their projects. So let's stick with the default. And let's click on create project. Here it's asking us now, how do we want to analyze your repository? And let's do it locally. Use this for testing or advanced use case. So we want to do some testing. There. Now this gets us to analyze the project, and we're going to get a token valid, and we can change the date. But let's keep it now for 30 days. Let's keep the token name the same and click on generate. And again, we're going to click on continue. Here, we're going to say run analysis on your project. What option best describes our project? And we have nothing of these. So we're going to click on other. My OS here is Mac OS. Oh, actually, JavaScript, TypeScript, there it is. And we're going to follow these steps now. Now, let's install this. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go into our Visual Studio Code. I'm going to install this here. And I will have to write in sudo in this case. There. And if we go back, it says here, please visit the official documentation of the scanner for any NPM project. So let's have a look here. And we can read all about it here. See, it's a great documentation here. Introduction, installing the scanner. We've just done that one. We've done it actually in the global mode. Let's do it actually for the project so that we can see it. There, and then it shows up in here. Let's refresh. And there it is. And then we can do some advanced setup, but we're going to skip that one for now. Then it says here, using the scanner. To start the Sonar scanner for NPM, you can either add the analysis to your build files or use the scanner start command line with or without npx. You can start the scanner and thus integrate it into your CI or build pipeline in the following ways: from the command line with npx, or by adding the analysis step to your build files. Now let's just start a scanner, and actually what we can do is we can go back here and see execute the scanner. Running a SonarQube analysis with the scanner for NPM projects is straightforward. You just need to run the following command in your project folder. So I'm going to copy this. You see I've got the token in here, and we're going into our project here and paste it in. There. Now when we open up localhost 9000, we can see that it passed. We can also see that there are some issues here, but nothing major. We can check these issues here. For example, it says here, prefer top level await over using a promise chain. And then it shows us what it means. This part here. We can get an explanation about why is this an issue. And how to fix it. So non-compliant code, compliant code. And what it's saying here basically, prefer top level await over using this promise chain, says that SonarQube wants us to stop chaining. Right? These dots here are chains. The dot then, the dot catch, and instead it wants us to use the await at the top level, or otherwise use async await, because they will make the flow clearer and error handling simpler. So let's have a look how we can improve that. So we go back into our code here, and let's do as follows. Let's create a file here, and let's call this file db.ts, database.ts. And here I'm going to import. Take that out and import it there. I am also going to use the import logger there. I'll leave that in there for now. That one as well. And I'm going to say const Prisma equals, and now I'm going to add the new client here, like I did here. There. And I'm just going to copy this here because I'm going to make some changes there. So I'm going to say try catch there, and in here I'm going to say await Prisma dot connect. So that's this part here, and I'm going to add the logger info there too. And of course I need to catch the error, and I'll copy that from here there. And then I'm going to copy this in there. And this should say error. There. Oh. There. And this can go. And I can say export default Prisma. Now in this file here, I can clean this up. I don't need any of this. I also don't need this extra one that I had here. Oh. There. And this I don't need either. The logger I still use for now. And all I need to do now is import Prisma from there. Okay. Now when I go back into SonarQube, here you see that it's still the same. it hasn't rescanned my document even though I saved it. So we can change that, and remember I added this script here, here. So let's add something to our code here. Let's do that. Let's create something like Sonar and write our script in there. And what we can do is we can go in here, and it says here starting the scanner from the command line, and we can copy this in, or we can just click here. Make sure the scanner is installed in the global mode, which we did. Use the sonar command to start the analysis. So we're going to copy it. This is an example, so it means we need to change it. So let's do that. We can paste it in there. We are going to localhost 9000, localhost 9000, and what else do we need to do? We need to say that this token is different, and I have it here. Let me copy it, copy, and paste that in there. So now when you npm run sonar, we can see it is analyzing our code once again. It's scanning it. And let's go back in here, and we can see that, let's go back here, and let's see, now it failed. I added this part behind it too, the project name. That's what I needed too. So let's see why it failed now then. See details. Let's see here. And you can actually see why it's blocking here. And that is because this is a sensitive key, and you don't want that in your package.json. So we need to change that as well. We do not want our token in here, of course, because this goes up to GitHub, for example. So we need to remove this. So first of all, let's install .env for the CLI here. So we say npm install .env CLI. And let's see. There we go. And now what we can do is we have the token in here. So that's already good. So we just need to change something here. And what we can type in is here .env .env, and then the rest of the code. Now let's try this out. And let's see if it works. Oh, of course, we have not taken this away yet. $, and what did we write down? This. There. Let's try again. And we have an error. And I changed this one now to login, and it all passes because I ran this. And when I then refresh here, you can see passed. There we go. Now let's have a look at the previous issue is gone, see? So we can say remove this one here, and this is on line 5. Code const sentry equals require. We don't need that, so let's take it away. Line 5, let's take it away. Let's try it again. Let's refresh here. And let's see, what did we do? And it's gone, yes. And that's how you can go through these errors here, these issues. You don't have to fix all of them, but of course it looks nice. You can also, if you work in a group, you can assign it to others. So I would say the issues is the important one, to clean up your code, to make it look good. So that is SonarQube in a nutshell. I hope you'll find it useful, and I certainly do. See you in the next lesson.